We know that this was a two-part challenge, and I was looking at everyone's responses when Ali first posted about it, and everyone was excited about it being a two-part challenge. So that's fun. So the first challenge, 3 pages, only female characters discovering an essential item that sets off the story. They must figure out a plan to deal with its unexpected consequences. So your April version still needed to be that, and then you add the theme to it. We have all female characters in Mikkel's script. So we have 2 inspectors, Inspector Cole, Inspector Whiteshaw, and then we have a teen girl here. And then even when we get to our new pages, because let's see, where did it end? Here, Inspector Cole looks around, no sign of potted orange tree or the teen girl. And so starting here, we get new pages and we get new characters. So we get a woman, chief inspector, and then we also get a nurse who's a woman, 27. So she did her job. We have all women. We had 3 pages because, again, we stopped here on page 3. And no, the title page does not count. I remember someone asking that question. But they had to discover something that set off some things in motion. So what they discovered was this orange tree, this potted orange tree. This was the thing they discovered. And then it sets off for one inspector to tase the other. So Inspector Cole is about to arrest the teenage girl when Inspector Whiteshaw tases her. And then she kneels down to check Inspector Cole's pulse. And then this should be Inspector Whiteshaw, who says her cover is blown. That's essential information that had me just a little confused, but I was like, I think it should be Whiteshaw. All right. So from here, the girl says to Inspector Whiteshaw, like, hey, your cover doesn't have to be blown. It can look like you were both attacked. So this lets us know that something's going on between Whiteshaw and the teenage girl. We don't know what, we don't know how it's connected to the orange potted orange tree, but we know that they are in cahoots on something. So then when we come back later, Inspector Cole, who I think this still should be, no, Inspector Cole wakes up and she finds that Inspector Whiteshaw is bleeding and has bruises all over her face. So Inspector Whiteshaw was the one that was in cahoots with the teen girl. But when we come back later, it's Inspector Whiteshaw who's passed out and bloody. And Inspector Cole finds her. Then what we learn in these last couple of pages, which includes our theme, is that Inspector Cole is alive and well. Inspector Whiteshaw might be in a coma or something. And in order for Inspector Cole to get a promotion, she basically has to inject Inspector Whiteshaw with something that could possibly cause her organ failure in the future. So this is her partner, so we assume they have a decent relationship with each other. And Inspector Cole doesn't want to do this to her partner, but the chief believes that Inspector Whiteshaw is a traitor. And we have a little bit of information here that says, yeah, maybe she was, but we don't know if she was trading for the good or trading for the bad. We don't know, but we do know that she was in cahoots with the teen girl. So we're given information up here, which is great, to come from script 1 and then just add theme to script 2 by utilizing what was already set up in script 1. So what was already set up in script 1 is here, Inspector Cole. Make it good. We're a merit away from promotion. So we already know that Inspector Cole wants to be promoted. We also see that Inspector Cole is a little bit more aggressive in everything that goes down in the house. It's Inspector Cole who tries to put handcuffs on a teenage girl when Whiteshaw steps in and tases her. So she's able to use what was set up in the first script and play on it instead of trying to find something to throw in to make the theme. So let's get back down here to the chief. So the chief says your partner is a traitor. If you want a promotion, you have to inject your partner with this thing that might cause her organ failure. So then Inspector Cole has to think about it, doesn't think about it very long, goes in, injects her with the thing, but then says to herself, I know you would never betray, forgive me. So she doesn't think that her partner's a traitor, but she's still willing to inject her. As the audience, we're in a position of, Well, we know she's a traitor, but we don't know if that's bad or good. So we don't know how we feel about her injecting Whiteshaw, right? Like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? But we're also understanding that Inspector Cole, no matter what, is choosing herself over her partner. Then we get here to realize that whatever promotion Inspector Cole thought she was going to get, she didn't. She got a promotion, but it was to something different. So she literally says, so it says here, you are hereby promoted to Superior of Sanitational Waste Disposal Sector 5A. And Inspector Cole says, shit, she promoted me to shit. So now she realizes I chose myself over my partner. I've injected my partner with something that can cause her organ failure, and I didn't even get the thing I said I was supposed to get. So that gives us the theme of everything glitters isn't gold. And so what's great about that is that it's not on the nose, right? It's not about gold. It's about the saying everything that glitters isn't gold versus making it about gold or making it about glitter or forcing the theme in there. And this is a great lesson because oftentimes people ask, when do we think about theme when we're writing? How do we add theme into a script, right? And my response to that is usually if your characters are clear on their backstory, their wants, their needs, and if those things are connected to the external goals that they are going to achieve or not achieve throughout the journey, the theme will come, right? So that's true and evidenced here. She didn't know that the next assignment was going to be about theme. But if we have in here that she wants to be promoted. And we see how she's pushing past the teenage girl to get into the house, flipping her badge. She's throwing things around while Inspector Whiteshaw is a little bit more, standing off to the back. We're already seeing that this person is likely willing to throw somebody else under the bus to get what they want, right? Like the evidence is kind of already there. So it makes sense that this person would choose themselves in order to get something, and then they don't get the thing that they were supposed to get, right? So those things are clear. We were just talking about world building, so I think this is another opportunity to kind of talk about that. Now, this is obviously a short. It's obviously an assignment, which means you guys don't have to write these with a beginning, middle, and end. You guys can write just a scene or two. That's a part of a larger thing, as long as you are hitting the beats or hitting whatever the assignment is, right? But let's just say this is all we have to go with. Though I understand what the story is, and I understand the themes, and I understand what people are trying to do, I cannot necessarily tell you what this world is, right? I can tell it's a different world from the world that we live in, right? Um, because I don't know what kind of inspectors they are. I don't know why having an orange potted plant could make it so that they get arrested. They'd be in violation of the Food Health Act, so they get arrested for it. So all of that is telling me this world is different from mine. So I'm gathering that information. And because it's only 3 pages, that's the information I have. But if this were a longer thing, I would be waiting to understand. Somebody has to come in and help me understand, what world is this, right? Is this Earth? Is this the year 3015? Like, where are we? What kind of inspectors are we? And what kind of inspector is she trying to be so that I understand? Let me see. Does it say? No, it just says, don't break the oath and you find yourself assigned out to sea. So she wants to be, wait, let's ensure you don't break your oath and find yourself assigned out to sea. Okay, being assigned out to sea is a negative thing. I don't know what being assigned out to sea means. I don't know what kind of assignments they have out there. I don't know, but I know it's a negative thing. So she's doing the world building. So we're building all of the questions. What we have to make sure is we get to the answers. I'm not going to get to them in 3 pages. I'm not going to get to them in 5 pages. But if I keep reading, by the time we're 20, 25 pages in, I'm going to start needing some answers. I don't have to have all of the answers because obviously it's a feature or it's a TV show or whatever it is, but I have to have enough answers so that there's a foundation that I can hold on to so I can start understanding this world, right? So I can know, like, what's the difference between becoming whatever kind of inspector she wanted to be and the sanitation inspector, except for the fact that it's sanitation. Like, is it really is it frowned upon, or is it just literally you don't want to be working with toilets? Is that what you would literally be doing? Right. Like, I don't have any of that information yet. But if you go back and read this, you'll start to see the things that are showing you or telling you, because some of it's in dialogue, that this is not our regular 2025 Earth. This is not something that we are familiar with. And she's giving us enough information to go, these are my questions. If I don't get them answered, I might check out. But right now, I understand what's going on, so I'm going to stay along for the ride. But these are my questions. These are my questions. These are my questions. So great job in doing your March assignment and adding your theme. It didn't feel forced at all. It felt like it was like you had already had evidence there. Because I also paid attention to see if there were any changes in the first 3 pages, and there weren't. At least I didn't see them. So it looks like literally took March, added April, versus saw March, realized what April was about, and said, "Oh, now I got to go change all these things that happened in, in March in order to get there." But that's what I mean by, if your characters are already clear, if their goals are already clear, your theme will come. You don't have to force it. Now, with that being said, some people do start with themes. Some people do start with this question they want answered, and they have to figure out what the world. Oh, you have to cut some dialogue. Okay, they have to figure out what the world is that's best for that theme, or they have to think about who the characters are that are best to take on the journey so that everybody understands all the different sides of the theme, right? So I'm not saying that you can't start with theme. That's your process. Some people start with world, some start with characters, some start with goals, some start with stakes, some start with theme. But if you're not a person who starts with theme and you're still trying to understand theme, allow your characters to tell you what it is. Allow your characters to show you what they're struggling with, battling with, questioning, and then those things will come. Because if you have not noticed, anytime a movie comes out, the reason that there are think pieces is because everyone has taken their own experiences, mashed them into what they watched on screen, and turning that into theme, right? You might find 100 people who give you different themes that they got from what they watched. And the reason that they can do that is because you gave them all the evidence, and now they're going to pull out what resonated with them, as the themes. So it's not always one theme that's in your story. There can likely be multiple themes, even if you were only focused on writing one.
And that's it. Want more content? Like, subscribe, and for notifications. Get notes on your script that get you unstuck at www.theprofessionalpen.com. I'm out.